Nate, we're gonna start crawling with this one, or maybe even stop.
Yeah.
Nate, a while back you and I checked out a game called Dead Age. Well, we're back again with Dead Age 2. This time, it felt really similar, but we're in early access with Dead Age 2, and we were able to check out a little bit of the game because you and I were experiencing some bugs.
Yeah, man, so I guess fresh off the gate, we were in the middle of the tutorial still, and once we got to the home base, it glitched out just entering the bar, or the cantina they call it in this case. So I've tried everything. I've tried resetting my computer, I've tried resetting the game, and nothing seems to work. But they do have the option with to send them a file that pops up after your game crashes to a certain email that they give you and yeah, so like that's kind of nice that you could tell that they're working on the game because it is clearly in early access. But nonetheless, let's kind of talk about what's actually different, because it's not just a rinse and repeat. I noticed a few things. They actually brought back some characters from the first one, which I thought was
Trish is back.
Yeah, Trish is back, which is pretty cool. So as a returning fan, that is pretty, that adds some extra interest. The gameplay actually is different. So before, you would enter a battle, and say you went to an area, it would be like a 10 sequence area. You would do the battle, and then it would go to like some sort of cutscene where you'd read something and then make a decision. Whereas now you actually just slowly pan and progress through the map entirely, or through the entire session. It's kind of cool, you know what I mean, Drew?
Yeah, absolutely. It went a little bit smoother this time. You can tell that this one is the second game around, but unfortunately, we had the biggest problem when we got to home base, and the fact that it just kept crashing our game, and we weren't able to keep going, which I kind of had more interest this time. The first game didn't really connect with me. The second game, honestly, Dead Age is a style within its own.
Yeah.
I think right there. So if you're a fan of Dead Age 1, I would look forward to Dead Age 2. I would wait though right now until it's out of early access and more polished, and hopefully then you won't experience the bugs we're getting right now by crashing the game. But overall, like the minute I jumped in, I was like, ooh man, this is a lot prettier than last time as well.
Yeah.
Like graphically, it stood out to me. The characters still look average, I'm gonna say. Like they don't look like really all that polished. Some of the zombie movements are still kind of stiff and things like that. There's other things I'd like to see. There are other zombie games out there, so there's a lot to draw from when you're a fan of the zombie genre. So when you're getting into this one, I think honestly it comes down to the fact that if you were a fan of Dead Age 1, then you're definitely going to gravitate with Dead Age 2 moving forward. But graphically, that's really where it kind of stood out for me and Sean the most. And then when you get into that gameplay, it felt very familiar, and I was really kind of hoping for a little bit of voice acting this time around, and there is none still.
Yeah, the voice acting would have been nice, but with the improvements in gameplay, it really actually, it's very thorough with the tutorial to start with. They make you do it with the first playthrough, which I think is a good idea, because even as a returning fan, they've changed enough. So even with the combat, let's start with, there's actually rows now. So there's like the front row, the melee row, and then the ranged row, instead of it just being 2 lanes that you attack back and forth from. So that already kind of adds some more, diversity in the combat. And there are some more moves. Your actual weapons make a difference now. Like in the first one, if you had a shotgun and a rifle, it was just kind of whatever the damage was and the moves. But now they just get a little more in depth with the stats, which actually, again, once this game is a little more polished, we'll have to come back to it, hopefully in maybe a month or a couple weeks. I imagine it won't take them long to fix the bug that we're experiencing. But, it'll be great to come back to it.
Absolutely. I definitely want to jump back into it. Our time with the game was unfortunately just really short, but even when we got to the home base, that is changed too.
Yeah.
This time we get this cut view of the house that we're in, and it has the room sectioned off. And that, like, man, I really wanted to kind of dive into that portion of it, and I just couldn't.
Yeah,
Where last time, like, weren't we just flipping through a book?
Yeah.
More or less, like it was like a comic book page, and that's how you would get your mission structure and all that kind of would follow forward, and how you would then kind of customize your character and your loadout and all those features would be through this booklet, and you'd be flipping through it. But this time, now your home base is a lot different and a lot more pleasing to the eye, to be honest.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of this XCOM 2 home base style where you're, you know, panned way out, and then you get to kind of cycle between the rooms and then perhaps upgrade them. We don't really know if you get to upgrade them because the game crashed once we got there. But nonetheless, if you're a returning fan, I'd say hop to it, but not quite yet. And then even if not, you know, this is a pretty cool turn-based RPG that might draw to you.
Yeah, I gotta be right there with you, Nate. I like where they're heading forward with the game, bringing Dead Age 2 to that next level. I think they're almost there. We just got a couple bugs we're experiencing right now that we will come back to later, hopefully once they polish that little issue that we're experiencing right now. But I can't recommend jumping in right away. I'd hold off right now for early access. Wait till I'd give it probably about a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then maybe reconsider. We'll be jumping back in, so stick with us, and we'll kind of keep you updated on how everything's going.
Dead Age 2 is looking really good and has a lot of improvements from the first one, but unfortunately Drew and I were hindered by a couple technical issues, so hopefully moving forward we can play more.